When I was born, I didn't pass the intelligence test. My mother, a professor of human intelligence, couldn't accept that her son was useless. So she found a boy with an IQ of 150, who also looked very much like me. She took me to the mountains to play hide and seek, and 17 years later, when the big boss's older sister came to the village to find me and reunite me with the family, they left her waiting outside for 2 hours. Losing her patience, she entered the courtyard herself. But she found me planting in the garden. Lanting looked at me with a frown of fury. I've been waiting for you for 2 hours out there, and you're here with this nonsense? You should know that you are a son of the Lan family, I asked her without stopping my work. And Lanting almost burst out laughing from rage. Stop doing things that don't fit your position. And also, remember this. The Lan family is not the nightclub where you lived. Keep everything you learned from that Rosa woman to yourself. And don't think that just because you're my brother, you can do whatever you want. Even if we have the same blood, I don't recognize you, Lanting said in a stern tone, as if speaking to a subordinate, without any trace of joy at having found her brother. It even seemed ridiculous to her to have spent 19 years raising a brother who wasn't hers. On top of that, they discovered that the boy hadn't even finished high school because he was expelled, and for no clear reason, which made Lanting increasingly nervous. She had to cancel a contract worth tens of millions to go look for this tarnished Lanzan. You have 10 minutes, or don't hold me responsible for the consequences. I dropped the hoe and with one kick, I threw Lanting out the door. Lanting didn't expect that Lanzan, whom she despised, would give her such a furious kick. She ordered her bodyguards to tear the door down. The bodyguards charged with force, making the metal gate rumble. I frowned with an unfriendly look on my face. I stretched my arms and legs, ready to put them in their place, when behind me I heard a voice saying, "Open it. Don't make the boys' job harder." I turned around and saw a woman in a red dress, sitting on the courtyard steps, with a cigarette between her fingers. I gave her a sideways glance, said nothing, and went to open the door. Lanting entered in a rage. "Weren't you so tough? You dared to kick me out? I thought you were serious. So tough that you don't even want to go home?" I looked at her unmoved. Although she was dressed to the nines, she was acting like a wild animal. It's not that I'm dying to go back to the Lan family, but you dare not to take me. Lanting was left speechless. She had come to this godforsaken place because the grandmother threatened to take her own life. She truly couldn't afford not to take me. The entire Lan family refused to accept it. "If you come looking for someone, behave accordingly. I'm sure you already investigated me before coming. I have a very bad temper, so it's in your best interest to drop that teacher attitude you've brought." I stepped closer and looked her directly in the eyes. "If you push my buttons, I don't care what your name is or what family you're from, you're going to see blood." I spoke in an arrogant tone, looking every bit like a street kid. Lanting's face grew even more serious. She was about to explode, but before she could, I turned around and continued working the land. Lanting was left with her anger stuck, unable to release it or swallow it. What a nuisance. 2 hours later, with Lanting's patience on the floor, I finally stopped what I was doing and slowly entered the house. Shortly after, I came out with a suitcase, wearing an elegant black coat with a stylish bearing. Lanting looked at me open-mouthed. She recognized those clothes very well. It was the latest collection, personally designed by Master Yulan. Only 2 pieces in the world. One sold for over $1 million, and the other was a gift. Wanzhou had tried to get it through her, but she never imagined it would end up on me. Someone raised by a nightclub girl? How could he afford Master Yulan's clothes? I glanced at Lanting, and seeing her look of astonishment, I looked away and walked out calmly. As I passed by Rosa, I stopped for a moment. I saw the cigarette butt scattered on the ground and frowned. I took the cigarette from her hand, threw it on the ground, and crushed it with my foot. "Smoke less? It's not good for you." Rosa was left with her hand in the air without saying anything. "Take good care of my medicinal plants. They're worth quite a lot of money." Rosa snorted. "Those worthless weeds? Who wants them? Go on, get out of here and enjoy the good life. If you leave, don't come back." I already started walking without replying. I only told her not to forget to take her medicine, and left without looking back. Lanting opened the car door, and before she could say anything, I pushed the suitcase toward her. "You go in your car." And I went straight to the motorcycle across from us, and put on the helmet. Lanting became hysterical. "Lanzan, what is wrong with you? Get off. Do you know how much that bike is worth? If you break it, can you even pay for it?" When she arrived, she had seen the bike. She didn't understand what kind of person would have come to this godforsaken place, but she didn't imagine I'd have the nerve to touch it. I looked at her sideways, started the bike, and sped off before Lanting's face of disbelief. She normally didn't show her emotions, but at that moment, she had a scream stuck inside. That was an international-level motorcycle, the only one in the whole country, valued at $5 million. The car she brought didn't even reach $2 million, and I had a motorcycle worth $5 million. Is this what you get being raced in a nightclub? Is it that well paid? When my motorcycle and Lanting's car disappeared from the village, Rosa stood up, dusted off her clothes, and dialed a number. We leave tomorrow morning. When Lanting and I arrived at the land house, it was already getting dark. The whole family was waiting in the living room. As soon as we entered, an unkind voice was heard. Are you Lanzan? I looked up. It was a woman in her 40s, wearing an elegant dress of considerable price, with every gesture exuding class. It was my mother, Liu Wanzhou, a university professor, and also the person who abandoned me with her own hands. Everyone in the Lan family believed I had been swapped at birth, and that I had grown up elsewhere. But no one knew the truth, that she herself had sought out a boy named Lan Shu to usurp my identity and live in the Lan family. I turned around with a calm mind, looking at the woman in front of me. Has your tongue failed you, or are you mute? Liu Wanzhou frowned, with so much contempt in her eyes it almost overflowed. She didn't feel a shred of guilt toward me. If she could go back, she would make the same decision, only she would be more careful so that no one discovered. Lan Shu wasn't her real son. Oh, what a pity. The children of the lands are all geniuses, and we get a mute one. Even if he had a high IQ, it wouldn't be much use. They say he was raised in a nightclub. Whatever little he might have, he must have wasted it serving others. He wouldn't have used it for anything useful. No one knows what Mom was thinking bringing him here. Lan Shu might not be blood, but he's brilliant. Not only was he the most popular in school, but this year he entered the best university in the country, ranking 20th in the province and excelling in various fields. What can this Lanzan do? Bringing him only serves to shame the family. The comments didn't stop. I looked at them one by one. Liu Wanzhou listened to the murmurs with a tense face. She looked me up and down with total contempt and said very seriously, Lanson carries the blood of the lands in his veins. That's why we had to bring you back. But this is not a nightclub. All those bad habits you learned with that Rose, you have to leave them behind. If you behave well here, you won't lack for anything. But if you cause me trouble, I won't show you any consideration. And he was going to respond, when suddenly, someone grabbed my hand and a soft voice reached my ears. Little brother, as soon as I heard they found you, I went to get you a gift. I ordered this diamond watch from a famous designer. I want to ask for your forgiveness. After all, it was because of the swap that you were the one who suffered. I only hope you don't kick me out of here. I've lived here for so many years. I formed a bond with Dad, Mom, and our sister. I couldn't bear to be separated from them. As long as you let me stay in the family, I will give you whatever you want. I set my eyes on the watch and let out a dry laugh, in a clearly mocking tone. A flea market watch at 10 euros apiece. Which famous designer charges so little? Everyone froze. So he wasn't mute? Lan Shu was bewildered. The fake watch. He bought it himself at a street stall, to mark his territory from the start, and he didn't expect this useless guy to discover it. But what did it matter? Lan Shu quickly regained his posture of superiority. Li Wanyu cut him off with a cold tone. What are you saying? Xiao Shu commissioned this watch, specifically from the famous master Yulan. It cost $1 million to make. It's a unique piece. It even has your name engraved. How can it be from a flea market? Apologize to Xiao Shu right now. I lifted my eyelids slightly, with a smile, barely perceptible at the corner of my lips. Mom, it's okay. My brother has never had contact with luxury products. It's normal that he doesn't recognize them. With time, he will get to know them. Lan Shu said those words with apparent generosity, but the pride in his eyes did not escape me. Lanting, seeing that remorseful face of Lan Shu, couldn't stand it and rebuked me furiously. Lanza! Didn't I warn you already not to pick on Xiao Shu? What are you doing now? Are you blaming him for taking your place? Without letting me answer, Lanting continued in a glacial tone. The two of you were swapped by mistake. It's your bad luck. What fault does Chow Chow have? When he learned he had usurped your identity, and that you had a hard time, he spent a long time with remorse, and even personally chose the gift just so you would accept him, and this is how you pay him? I looked at her without any expression. Did I give you permission? Or did I give you any sign that you have the authority to lecture me? That left everyone speechless. No one expected that someone who had just been recognized would dare to attack his own sister, and on top of that, without mercy. He sent her to the ground, spitting blood. Sister? Are you okay? Lan Shu ran to pick up Lanting, and then looked at me reproachfully. Little brother, the swap wasn't Big Sister's fault. If you want to blame someone, blame me. How could you hit Big Sister? You damn scoundrel. How dare you lay a hand on your sister? Today I'm going to teach you how to behave. Liu Wanyu raised her hand to hit me. But before she touched me, I grabbed her wrist and said emotionlessly, the Lanzan from before age 6 is already dead. That word, Mom. I said it to her, dragging the last syllable with a coldness full of mockery. Liu Wan. You opened her eyes wide and stumbled backward. She backed up several steps and almost lost her balance. In her eyes there was shock and fear, and above all, disbelief. How could he remember anything from before age 6? A person with an IQ lower than 80 always has a poor memory, and in theory, what happened before age 6, they shouldn't remember. I was satisfied by Liu Yuan's reaction. I wore a defiant smile. I see you haven't forgotten either. Liu Wanyu wanted to speak, but I no longer paid her attention. I approached Lan Shu. Why don't you just play dead quietly? Why on earth are you putting your face in front of me? Lan Shu had teary eyes with the victim's face. Little brother, I know you're angry with me, but I interrupted him without hiding my weariness. If you want to know if it's true, an analysis in any lab clears everything up. I looked at everyone present without being ruffled. Though I suppose you pack of dimwits, don't want to do any test. With that, I insulted them all, but before anyone could react, I let out a mocking giggle. I'm in a good mood today, so I'll do the test for you for free. Saying that, I took out my phone, opened a social network, and video called the contact, saved as L. As soon as it connected, an excited voice was heard on the other side. Lanzan, I've missed you so much. They told me you're in Yangcheng. As soon as I finish what I have on hand, I'm coming to find you. Everyone in the Lan family widened their eyes like saucers. They even forgot to breathe, staring open-mouthed at Master Yulan. The prodigy girl, the only one in the country who, at just 20 years old, heads the ranking of designers. Everything she designs, whether clothes or jewelry, cannot be obtained even with money. I glanced at the Lans' faces and smiled. Someone just gave me a watch, saying, it's yours. Master Yulan stayed silent for a second, and then said annoyedly, no, Lanzan. I'm angry. Every single thing you're wearing, I designed it tailor-made for you. How can you accept a watch from someone else? When Master Yulan said that, all eyes fell on me. No one had looked closely before. But now, looking carefully, it was true. All my clothes and every accessory bore the unmistakable seal of Master Yulan. It was like wearing an entire apartment on my back. How was it possible that someone raised in a nightclub had such luck and also knew Master Yulan? And that Master Yulan held him in such high regard that she designed everything for him? Come on, don't be angry. I answered her in a soft tone. The family's adopted boy gave me a 10 euros flea market watch, saying it was yours. So I'm calling you to confirm it. As Master Yulan jumped to her feet and raised her voice considerably. They are making me out to be a fraud. Who the hell does he think I am? Turn the camera. I want to see who has that much nerve. I pointed the camera directly at Lan Shu, who turned white as paper, his fingers twisting his clothes, not daring to breathe. He only wanted to mark his territory from the first moment, and didn't count on being caught red-handed. Master Yulan put on a serious face and stared at the watch he was holding. Lan Shu, what is that trash? How dare they say I designed it? You've got some nerve. Where did you get it? I didn't do anything. Lan Shu's eyes were full of tears, with that fragile face he had. But Master Yulan wasn't falling for that game. Her main job was designing, but her secondary one was detecting fake faces. You are quite the liar. What are you plotting with that little head full of malice? Lan Shu staggered and, crying, explained that he didn't know the watch was fake. I asked a friend to buy it. Saying that, Lan Shu approached me, trying to grab my hand. I pulled away and said, don't touch me. Lan Shu froze. Little brother, I'm so sorry. I should have asked for it to be authenticated first. I didn't think it would cause such a mess. I'll buy you another, better watch. Before I could say anything, Lan Shu spoke again. Since you know Master Yulan, tell her yourself what it costs to design a watch for someone. I'll pay for it. No way. Whatever he wants. San, I'll give it to him as a gift with all the pleasure in the world. That left all the land speechless. San, turn the camera now. That guy has a funeral face that gives me a very bad feeling. Master Yulan made a disgusted face and then, looking at my face, said, Hey, point the camera at that greenhouse flower. In 2 hours, I'm sending the lawyer's letter, and the compensation is 500,000 euros. You keep it as a tip. Master Yulan must have been very pissed off, because she normally doesn't hang up in less than an hour. This time she hung up before a minute passed. Lan Shu's face turned even whiter. He knew that earning the enmity of Master Yulan would bring him nothing good, but he didn't expect the punishment to arrive so quickly.